Samantha Ferguson with William Penn Insurance, and today I want to talk about box truck insurance or trucking insurance. Okay, so box truck and trucking insurance pretty much has the same requirements, minus the CDL driver. So to begin your box truck journey or your trucking journey and you already have your CDLs, it's a little bit different story, but box trucks can get loads just like a trucker can or a large truck can. The insurance is very similar. For example, you need to get your DOT number, okay? So this is gonna have your own authority. You're gonna have a DOT and an MC number. You apply for these numbers. I also suggest when you apply for these numbers, you also already have your EIN in place, your LLC created, that your business is going to be called, because your LLC, your DOT and MC numbers, basically your authority will be under your business name, okay? After you apply for that, you need to get the insurance. The insurance is going to activate your DOT. There's also a few other things that you have to get prepared, like a BOC3. And if you have an agent that is preparing your DOT, they will go over that kind of stuff. But typically, you're going to need, after you create your DOT MC, typically after you get to that point, to make your DOT authorized, you're going to need the insurance to match your federal requirements, okay? Every new DOT is gonna be at least $750,000 in liability. You need $750,000 in auto liability, okay? That's not general liability, that's auto liability on the truck itself. Why? Because your vehicle is gonna be over the gross vehicle weight of 10,000, and it is a large vehicle. And if it hits something, it is going to cause a lot of damage. It could severely hurt someone, very much cause a large amount of property damage in comparison to a smaller car. So the requirement is at least $750,000 in auto liability. That is across the board for any DOT. It's a federal regulation, so it's not state specific. But you are going to need $1 million coverage when you start to drive. And the reason why is new DOTs, the broker requirements are always $1 million liability. Unless you've been on the road for a long time and your DOT only allows you to have $750,000 in auto liability, then brokers will let you go away with that. But that's not normally the case anymore. You're going to need $1 million in auto liability. So the $750,000 in auto liability will satisfy the DOT requirements and get you authorized, but it will not satisfy broker requirements, which means you will not book loads until you have $1 million in auto liability. There's also going to be other insurance requirements for you to broker loads that is not a federal guideline, okay? But typically that's at least $100,000 in cargo, which means whatever load you're picking up, we're going to cover at least $100,000 in cargo, in the load itself, okay? So it's very important that you let us know what type of loads you're picking up to make sure that they're properly covered. Brokers get smart on this and they call us if there's shellfish involved, seafood, you're carrying seafood, because it can be high priced, it could be excluded on your policy, and they want to make sure that shellfish is included. That's a specific thing that we have to do on the insurance side, and we can take care of that for you. There's other requirements like general liability insurance, okay, which is nothing to do with the auto liability itself. It's general liability on your business that can be attached straight to your auto policy. We do that one with Progressive. That's $1 million over $2 million in aggregate. General liability just basically is covering you, yourself, or your business from things that you may do. And then it in turn protects the broker that hired you or whoever load it is, okay? Because everybody's insurance gets protected by your insurance. Because when you're getting hired as a driver, you are contracted to these companies, and if something were to happen, they could be potentially on the hook for one of your mistakes or neglect. So that's why these are required, okay? Whether or not you want physical damage on your truck or not can be a personal preference based on whether you owe money on the truck. If you owe money on the truck, you obviously have to carry full coverage, or comprehensive and collision coverages on the truck for protecting it for physical damage. But if you own the truck outright, you don't necessarily have to, but it is in your best interest to protect your asset, especially if you paid cash for it, because those are not cheap, those box trucks or rigs or 18-wheelers. So most people don't realize this. This is a tip for your DOT. You can go to safer.com, safer.fmcsa.com or .gov, and that is where you can look up your company requirements, what your insurance requirement is, whether it's $750 or above. I've seen some that been over $1 million because they had lapses in insurance or not properly doing what they needed to do for the insurance side. So on Safer, you can also see your DOT inspections. Your first year, you're going to get a safety inspection. Anytime you get pulled over in a weigh station, if you're out of compliance, you will get hit for it, okay? And if you have a low amount of inspections and the same amount of, out of inspections, it is going to affect your DOT number, and that is going to affect your insurance, okay? How you can combat that is just making sure you're up to par on everything that you need on your truck, and you're not out of inspection. Inspection when you are inspected. You can ask for more inspections, or go into weigh stations apparently and get inspected again if you're good, so that you can try to bring your percentage down. But if you have a high percentage, insurance companies are not interested in covering you for insurance, and not for a cheap price either, because they're afraid of your safety regulations or you being out of compliance, which could mean a lot of things. Like I said, you are driving a large vehicle that weighs a lot, okay, and you're primarily on the highway, and now they are regulating the hours that you drive because they want to make sure that you are alert enough to drive that machinery. If there was an accident, it can cause a lot of damage. And that's the reason why the insurance is expensive, the limits that are required are high, and the regulation is so strict. But if you are on point about all these things, you can make a great living out of trucking. They're always in need, and being an owner-operator means you can keep majority of your profit, okay? If you have any questions about box trucks, you can contact my office. We do the insurance. And just to let you know, like I said before, you have your LLC prepared. You get your DOT number in the same name as your LLC, and your insurance will be in the same name. Because if it's not in the same name, the insurance and the DOT, they will not communicate property, and they will not give you your authority, okay? Which is basically your MC number. So if you have any questions about trucking, give us a call. Our information is below, but I wanted to just touch base on this subject because we've literally probably did like 2,000% more box trucks and truckers this year in 2021, because more truckers are getting on the road as owner operators. All right, it's not that scary to do, especially if you've been in the industry, and if you've been driving maybe for another company. You can do it yourself. You can get these cargo vans and these box trucks for a lower price than the bigger trucks. So you can start your own business with a little bit less capital up front. Okay. So good luck to you, truckers. Check out our other business videos about success in business, about accounting needs, Google, stuff like that. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.